my name is Faye, welcome back to my channel. So I am recording this video at about 5:20 in the morning, hence I'm been a bit quiet. I've been a bit ill the past few days, so my sleep pattern's been all over the place. So I'm coming to you today with my 20-week pregnancy update. So I am 20 weeks and 3 days today, and I've kind of just written down a whole list of what's been going on since I did my pregnancy tag, which was when I was 12 weeks pregnant. So a lot has gone on in that time. So we'll start at 12 weeks. So when I was 12 weeks pregnant, I had my 12-week scan and I had my nuchal translucency test. All of that turned out okay. Obviously when I went to I was really anxious about the 12-week scan because I thought I was growing a bit smaller. I was before or after. And then when I went to hospital, it turns out that was bang on when I thought it would be. And quite funnily, Felicity's due on April Fool's. So there's that. Also, I had a kind of bit of a crazy time when I was 12 weeks pregnant and I had a breakdown of relationship, etc. So following on from that, I didn't really have many symptoms. All my tenderness and if I had any kind of nausea beforehand, which I didn't really, that had all disappeared by then. And then I went for a private scan, I would say about 13 weeks or so, no, maybe about 14 weeks, because I was getting a lot of movements and growing and cramping, and I think it was more for like the anxiety, and I was worried at the time, but everything turned out okay. So when I was 14 weeks pregnant, I started to get a bit of sickness. I would say it wasn't specifically morning, it was throughout the day. I was just very nauseous and I was unable to eat a few things. I got very, very put off any red meat, anything that had blood in it. I could just, if I would have a steak or something like that, regardless of how it was cooked, I could just taste the blood that was in it and it would just make me throw up, and it just really put me off it, and I just couldn't really deal with that. I would say food aversions have been the biggest issue for me. So the foods that I would usually eat, like your meats, your fish, what else? Just certain vegetables, I was really put off them, or I'd really fancy them, then as soon as I started to taste it, I would just start throwing them up, or it just wasn't nice. At 15 weeks, I started to feel quite a lot of round ligament pain, like things were stretching. I always looked quite big earlier on, but I think it was more bloating. But now I've lost a bit of weight, which I go into, you can kind of tell what's baby and what was bloat. And then 15 weeks and 4 days, I had my gender scan, so it was always my intention to go for an early gender scan. I'm a very impatient person, and I really wanted to find out what I was having. So when I went to all my previous private scans, they all thought I was having a boy, and they were like, oh, I think I can see something between its legs. And it actually turns out that I'm having a girl. So let me just find the picture for the scan so you can see. Bring it closer. Those 3 white lines. So I was excited. I've always really wanted a girl. You can have some tea. I've always really wanted a girl, so excited for that. And I've already named her as well. So, and then around 16 weeks, I had my consultant appointment. So I am under the consultant because I was born with 3 kidneys and now I've only got 1. So we just wanted to check that there's no renal issues. And basically they've told me they're going to book me an extra scan at 28 weeks just to check that everything's growing okay and that there's no problems. And then from about 16, 17 weeks, it's been a bit of a nightmare. So I'd say around 17, 18 weeks, I got really ill. I got the flu and ended up having pleuritis. And I was quite ill with it, but it wasn't for too long. So I think also because I had the flu jab as well, my body reacted to that in some kind of way. And because I had a lot of chest pain, I ended up having a VQ scan, which to see if there's any blood clots, and thankfully there wasn't. And then my body got over that quite quickly. And I would say I had about 5 days off of being ill. During those 5 days, I was actively getting urine infections. So now I'm on long-term antibiotics for that. And then at the start of last week, I started to get flu symptoms again. So working in a hospital environment, I think it's really easy, especially this time of year, to pick up certain symptoms, or it's just things get passed on very easily. It's kind of a bit of a toxic environment to be in for germs. So I started to get ill again, probably at the start of 19 weeks. However, this was much worse, and I was throwing up every single day with it. And I've had this horrific cough that's been making me throw up as well. So I wasn't able to eat much, and I wasn't able to eat much, and everything was just kind of getting on top of me, and I wasn't sleeping very well, or I was sleeping too much, and I was just feeling absolutely awful. So I went to the doctors, and I think it's all just this viral thing going around. I was already on some antibiotics for the urine infection, so the doctor ended up giving me some cyclizone, which is anti-sickness, which helped a little bit, but at the same time it didn't, because I think a lot of the throwing up was from me like choking on my own cough. And kind of any hot fluids I was having would exacerbate that, and as I was lying down in bed, because it was settling kind of on my lungs, it was just kind of throwing up slime, and it just wasn't nice. So I thought it was getting better, then a few days ago it just got worse again, so I ended up getting prescribed some more antibiotics, which it is starting to help a bit, but I've still got this kind of horrible cough, and I've still got a little bit of sickness. It's just kind of slowly going, but in all of that I've been trying to go to work as well, and I think when you work 13-hour shifts, your body, it takes your toll on your body. So a few of these days I haven't been able to work, and a few of the days I've had to work because I'm moving into my own place at the end of the month, and I just can't afford to not work in a way, because I need that kind of extra added bonus. So that's that. I'm 22 weeks and 3 days as of today. Still a bit coffee, still a bit bunged up. I had a lot of congestion. And I went for my 20-week scan yesterday, which they could only do half of because she was in the wrong position. So I have to go back again next week. But surprisingly, even though I've lost about half a stone, she's bang on growing on target. That's probably because she's taking all the nutrients from me, which is probably another reason why I feel awful. So she's bang on target. She was measuring at 20 weeks, 2 days yesterday, and that's what I was. So still due date of the 1st of April. So we'll see next week. They still need to look at her heart and her arms. I think they managed to measure her abdomen, her brain, and her legs yesterday. She has quite long legs, so I think she's going to be a long baby. And then just what I've got looking forward to, so I move out of my place here. Sorry, I move out of here in 4 days' time. I move into my new apartment on the 30th, so I've got that to look forward to. I'm going away to Spain for 5 days. My grand's taking me away, bless her, for 5 days at the end of the month. That's more because I've had a really kind of horrific time this past 6 to 8 weeks. It's just been really upsetting, so we're just going to go for a nice girly relax holiday, kind of like a little baby moon. That's horrible. So yeah, that's my 20-week update. Yeah, trying to think if I've got everything. Yeah, so that's my 20-week update. I'm hoping in the next few weeks things start to settle down, because the second trimester is where you're meant to be blooming, and this has probably been one of the worst 2 months that I've ever felt in my whole entire life. So everything's just a bit backwards for me. So I'm hoping that things are going to start to be a bit better. But yeah, I will just keep you updated with these little pregnancy updates. Okay.